assimilation need not be the choice. And here we come to the heart of the matter. Choice is key. Like it or not, the truth is that we structure reality. We hand it on. What is reality for us is not just what our parents have told us, or what history assumes, or what social media dictates. It is also the result of the faith that you have lived, the experiences you have had, the courses you have taken, and the people with whom you have chosen to spend time. Within that context, you can develop a synthesis of the terms unity and diversity. You are indeed diverse, but you can choose to be one if you have the courage to perceive how similar you are in and through Jesus Christ. Allow me to offer you one example of excessive diversity that has led to historic disunity, and that is the scourge of racism in American society. What is racism? There are many definitions, but the one found in the recent pastoral letter from the American bishops, Open Wide Our Hearts, captures the essence well. We bishops said this: racism arises when either consciously or unconsciously a person holds that his or her own race or ethnicity is superior and therefore judges persons of other races or ethnicities as inferior and unworthy of equal regard. When this conviction or attitude leads individuals or groups to exclude, ridicule, mistreat, or unjustly discriminate against persons on the basis of their race or ethnicity, it is sinful. Racist acts are sinful because they violate justice. They reveal a failure to acknowledge human dignity in the person who is offended and to recognize them as the neighbors Christ calls us to love. Key ideas here are these: the self-perception of race superiority, the resulting perception of inferiority among others, not of the superior race, actions of exclusion as a result of this attitude, violations of justice, and the failure to recognize the human dignity given to all by God. These are all actions of excessive diversity, not actions of Christian unity. Racism comes in many forms. Deliberate sinful acts such as the reappearance of nooses and swastikas, housing and hiring discrimination, racial profiling, selective discrimination practices, and irrational fears of certain groups, to name a few. Even more often, racism rears its ugly head in the form of the sins of omission, when individuals, communities, and even churches remain silent and fail to act against racial injustice. The problem of racism not only affects African Americans, but also Native Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, and anyone who is seen as other. This plague has been in our country for nearly 500 years. Although much has been spoken about the problem, little action has been taken by the American church to raise social consciousness of church teaching and change attitudes. While the global church has championed human dignity and equality, and as Pope St. Paul VI asserted that the church must work to address social inequalities by building a human community where men and women can live in truly human ways, free from discrimination on account of race, religion, or nationality. Why does it appear that this sin of racism continues to plague our country, and that we are often, so often, incapable of taking decisive action against it? At the heart of racism is the embrace of excessive diversity, which excludes an openness to unity. There are many social problems that your generation will have to face, including defending the life of the unborn, a diminishment of respect for life in general, poverty, homelessness, lack of education, and attempts to reduce or eliminate religious freedom, to name a few. I want to encourage you this evening to add to that list the eradication of racism by rejecting excessive diversity and striving for the unity that can only be found in Christ. In other words, my brothers and sisters, hold fast to Christ. Hold fast to what he says, to what he does, and you cannot fail to be one. St. Augustine said it well when he wrote about friends. He said this: "All kinds of things rejoice my soul in their company, to talk and laugh and to do each other kindnesses, to read pleasant books together, to pass from the lightest jesting to talk of deepest